Welcome back to the Armchair Generals.
where we talk about 40K news, tactics, lore.
and so much more. We hope you enjoy the video.
But for me, it's more the memories. Um, yeah.
I mean, I started working at another store in the area, TBS Comics, shout out, actually wearing their shirt right now. And
love
I
it.
was doing I was their miniature guy, so I was doing all their orders and getting their events organized. And just the people I met from that, like I'm still extremely good friends with that I hit up through text and messenger and stuff all the time.
Yeah.
One of the guys there, I've been in their life for like their wedding, their kids being born, all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That just makes me feel older and older, but still, like you're there for these milestones, and you're like, wow. And it's because of Warhammer and just the aspect of this game, like the joys of it. It's just amazing.
And I think, I mean, yes, it is a game, but it also it really isn't. It's
No.
so much more than a game. I mean, yes, it's a game that brings us together, but it is so much more than a game, and it's honestly more than just a hobby too.
It definitely transcends the word game. Like I use the word game because at its base it's a game, but it definitely transcends like just a game.
It does. I mean, it forges friendships. It sometimes destroys friendships.
Rivalries, yeah.
But you know, some people don't handle losing and things like that as well. But it really it creates friendships. It creates bonds so much more. And it really is a community more than just a game or a hobby. It's a community, and I think it does a really good thing, especially for. I mean, you know, you and I were both very young. I mean, you know, 14 years old when we were starting to play, and I think being around other geeks and nerd types really helped influence us and pushed us towards doing, you know, continuing with the game, but you know, doing things we enjoyed rather than just submitting to the 9 to 5 grind.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, shoot, now it's starting to help you make a living out of it, Jordan. So,
Doing
sorry, Crash.
Yeah, I mean,
We're gonna need a pause.
Yeah, pause to edit that.
Yeah,
pause,
edit.
cut.
Say your name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh no, you're good. It's something. Well, I mean, that's something we're gonna have to get in and out of. Like,
yeah.
But if you catch it, just definitely do pause. We need to edit and then do the thing.
I mean, as long as we call it out. I know this video is going to take some time to edit, so you know.
Yeah.
As long as we call it out, it'll be grabbable.
So we have a Tristan for him. We can shackle him to a desk.
Yep.
Secretary and inmate.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, even so much as it's starting to, you know, earn you a living there, Crash. You're really starting to take off as a pro painter. So
Doing some commission painting. Yeah, I've had a number of eye surgeries that have limited my ability to be out in brightly lit areas, such as a workplace environment with fluorescent lighting. And commission painting has started to help me get more of an income going again. It's going rather well, doing bigger and bigger commissions, and it really has. It's becoming a job, an actual legit job. And so, yeah, it is more than just a game in that regard as well.
Yeah.
Now, I know, you know, for us, the game is more than a game. It's more than a hobby. You know, and I understand that not everybody has the money to get into it right away, but you know, at the same time, I think people can take the time to learn. A lot of the times, if you ask somebody, hey, would you mind, you know, teaching me how to play? Most people that I've run across are really cool, and they'll take the time to teach you how to play, so you can see if it's something that you want to get into.
Yeah, if they don't have the means right then and there, they'll definitely set aside schedule a time maybe to do a learner session with you. Bring along a bunch of extra minis for you to use. That way you don't have any upfront cost to see if you even like the game. Actually, hopefully we'll be able to cover something like that here in the near future.
That's definitely a video I'd like to do and talk about getting into the game, how you can do it a little cheaper, a little more effectively, for new players, and that's something to take into consideration for anybody out there that's teaching a new player or for a new player. Make sure to let people know you're a new player, you're not very experienced, so that they know, hey, I shouldn't take one of these butt kicker armies that's meant for a tournament or something like that. And I see
Nova.
But for instance, Nova's the sort of person you would want to tell, hey, I'm new to the game. And he'd be more than happy to accommodate. I know.
Way more than happy.
But
you got to have that conversation up front, because say Crash and I, you want to play 40K. Boom, he's got one idea of an army to bring. I have an idea of an army to bring, and they're very different.
Yeah.
And even the casual versus competitive conversation, even if you're an experienced 40K player, or even if you're just getting into it but you have a full army, make sure you talk to your opponent. Hey, I'm not really bringing a super competitive army. Is that something you can accommodate? Have conversations before games. It can really help clear up a lot of problems that can develop.
Yeah. Well, like for instance, Nova and I both play Space Wolves. He plays them at the tournament level. I, worried about the name of my Wolf Lord for my great company. His is just Wolf Lord on whatever, however he's armed. So I mean, totally different play styles there. My guy might have the same stuff, war gear wise as his, but most likely not, because I'm doing it because I want the mini to look cool. I don't really care if he's the most effective on the field. I definitely want him to be able to fight, but I mean, if he's not got the most optimal weaponry, it doesn't matter to me. But that's where Nova starts. It's like, okay, how do I arm this guy to make him most effective on the field? So it's definitely differences in viewpoints there.
And that's something I go into in depth in some future videos. The versus casual, and the differences. Even in play style, a casual player, might do something different. For instance, Thunderwolves. A more competitive player like Nova is going to, hold those Thunderwolves. I don't think he'd be using Thunderwolves currently, but
not at the moment.
You might hold those Thunderwolves for the perfect moment to send them out, whereas Scotcho is going to be like, no, Thunderwolves charge.
Yep, because that's what they do.
And always a play in 40K are correct. Don't let anyone tell you and that you're playing it wrong and squish on your fun. If you want to play it super uber hardcore, do it. I mean, more power to you. If you want to, like El Scotcho does, name every wolf lord, name every wolf, do it, because that's awesome. More power to you. Don't let anyone tell you that you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Because there is no wrong. You follow the rules in the book just like anybody else.
Mm-hmm. I fully agree. And liking both sides of it. I mean, when I go to a tournament, my squads are typically named and my sergeants might even be named. My opponent might not know those names, but I sure do. And that builds that narrative for my army, for the army.
Yeah, you can still forge your own narrative, even if your opponent might not be aware that you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to 9th edition when we get going.
The Crusade.
Pretty hard with it for the Crusade segment.
Okay, well, I guess, we've talked a little bit about some of the future videos we want to do. I know we want to get into some more in-depth tactics at some point, like the competitive level. And I know Nova's insight will be very important there. I know we want to get into some of the more casual play aspects as well. How to set your game up for a more casual feel and air. And I think Scotcho's input will be, fairly important for that video. We want to do some deep lore dives. We want to do tactics. We want to do even some breakdowns. I do a lot of math with my 40K
Oh my gosh.
to determine
Math hammer.
what weapons are better in what situation. And
How can you play without Math Hammer, Scotcho?
Easily build minis and put them on the table and have fun.
Oh, I'm just playing with you.
so I wouldn't mind doing, a little bit of math dives on what weapons and gear are better. And most weapons and gear are situational. Some weapons are going to be much better than other weapons in very specific situations. We want to do, at some point, we want to start doing introductions on how to play, how to get started, do basic gameplay introductions.
We have a good friend that's really new to the game, and we want to teach him, and he's agreed to let us videotape it. So
we want to do some even modeling tutorials, build and clean them properly, because I know as a new player myself, I did not properly build and clean my model.
Ooh.
I remember those days.
How many pounds of tester's glue used on some of those early Space Marines?
There were many sessions of me and Crash sitting in Crash's old man cave and me fixing his minis because they were really, really terrible back
I was
then.
talking about mine.
Oh, yeah. I remember that Chaos Army I bought off of you
from
my little brother.
Because I also had that same paint set you were talking about earlier, the 5 Space Marines with the paints, and I had painted them just like the box, and then I took the gloss varnish and was like this far away. I was like, shh, and all the paint just melted off. I'm like, oh, and there's like
so you had a trooper smack from
my
turn
4th
signals
grade
on a Land
self,
Raider.
like, well, this isn't fun. What did I just do?
Sorry.
It's funny when things take us back to those days. I was just talking the other night about it. I primed some minis with a rattle can for the commission work, and I posted a picture to Scotcho and Nova, and I was like, can you smell the primer? That primer smell always brings me back to the early days of 40K.
Bolt gun metal.
And bolt gun metal. Lead belcher now, I think it is.
It's not the same. The smell's not the same.
No, the smell's gone.
It was more toxic probably when we were kids, so it was better.
It probably was.
More lead in there.
With some actual lead instead of just pigment.
But there's those little things that really pull us back to when we first started to play, when the game still had so much more mystery and discovery to it. And a lot of that is us getting older, learning more and everything like that. But like that's once in a while I go back and I reread Eye of Terror, because Eye of Terror is a very kind of loosey-goosey with the entire 40K lore and theme, but it still has that sense of wonder and mystery to it. And every time I read that, it kind of revitalizes it for me a little bit. But there's a lot of videos we want to get into, a lot of videos we want to do. We're also going to do news segments where we talk about 40K news, Age of Sigmar news. I think our primary discussion is probably going to be Warhammer 40K, but we'll just talk about other games as well, especially if our viewers request it.
Not opposed to Age of Sigmar at all. It just nothing has really grabbed me like 40K has yet in that. I mean, I played a lot of dwarves in 8th edition.
I like the new crack elves. Or as some would call them, the Lumineth Realm Lords.
Yeah.
They're addicted to light crack.
Yeah. I thought it was light meth.
It probably is light meth.
Well, now that we've gotten past the child-friendly references, any closing comments from you guys? Anything you're looking forward to doing with the channel, videos, things like that? Nova?
I just want to let our audiences know that no matter what kind of 40K you play, our channel's for you. If you want to see something, post it in the questions. Ask us. We are more than happy. We want to interact with you. But like I said earlier, there's no wrong way to play this game unless you play Tau. I'm being very tongue-in-cheek.
Well, and
I have a friend who plays Tau, and about once a week I have to jibe him with that joke.
Jab.
Not only that, but not only is it going to be us monitoring and responding to the comments, but we've also got Nidbait and the Dave to help us out with that, and we will be on top of it. So if you aren't seeing what you want to see, let us know. That way we can modify. We want to make this the best channel we can, and we're going to try our level best to keep it family friendly too. That way you don't have to worry about listening to it in the background when you're monitoring little ones. They won't pick up any bad habits or language from me, at least.
So, I mean, we're just three friends sharing our passion of this game, and you know what? Come on, come have a game with us, come have a chat with us. Come join us in this ride of 40K.
Yeah.
This ride of Warhammer.
Learn some things, teach us some things.
Sounds good. We do have a Twitter and a Facebook group set up. So if you want to join and chat at us there, you can do so. Until next time, this has been Armchair Generals. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe, smash the alert button so you get notified next time we put up a video. Thank you.
Smash that like, and remember,
Good night.
the Emperor protects.